Hey there everyone, it's Austin Buck, and we're back on Magic Online playing some more Standard. And the other day I was looking through some of the Magic Online 5.0 deck lists, since they publish around 10 lists per day every time someone 5.0s with a standard deck online. And this little number caught my eye. It wasn't this exact list, but it was a very similar one. It was basically just a mid-range control deck with Anointed Procession. It's not all in on the token synergies, like previous black-white builds with like hidden stockpile and that kind of thing. This is a straight blue-white version, which is essentially just an Embalm deck. So we're using Anointed Procession, and we're dumping creatures into our yard with Champion of Wits, Chart a Course, Sunscourge Champion, and just getting something back from our graveyard every turn. Sort of like god-pharaoh's Gift without the god-pharaoh's Gift. It's kind of like a mixing up both of the two decks, in fact. Both god-pharaoh's Gift and black-white tokens. So what are the advantages of playing this over either of those two decks? Well, the advantage of playing this over god-pharaoh's Gift, even though you sacrifice a higher ceiling, you don't just fold to cards like a Braid or Negate. All you need to do is get a Procession down, and then every turn you're getting recursive value. You get 4 of Fumigate, which is very good against like most of the decks in the format, outside of like Control, obviously. And you just get to play a long grindy game, which the god-pharaoh's Gift and the black-white tokens decks don't necessarily do that well. I mean, the tokens deck can grind, but that deck doesn't really get to the board very well. It has trouble, that deck really relies on Fumigate. This deck doesn't rely on Fumigate as hard, even though it's still good, because this deck can actually get power and toughness into play. It doesn't just play like Legion's Landing and Hidden Stockpile and hope to get there with 1/1 tokens, which isn't always the case. This deck has a lot more beef to it, thanks to like Champion of Wits, Sunscourge Champion, Angel of Sanctions, just putting lots of power and toughness into play in the mid-game, allowing you to block well and sort of force the issue with Fumigate, because that's the other thing. A lot of times you'll just start games out with like Sacred Cats, Anointed Priests, Champion of Wits, just annoying value creatures that your opponents don't really want to kill. So in order for them to get over the top of you, they have to keep playing into the board, which means that Fumigate gets better and better as the game goes on. And every single creature in our deck has Embalm, so we don't mind if our creatures get swept up by a Fumigate, because we can just get them back later for more value thanks to the Anointed Procession. And then the sideboard, we just have a smattering of options. A couple more. Got the Glyph Keeper as an additional top-end threat. Some removal, some counters, River's Rebuke, some more life gain. Just a smattering of options for whatever we might run into. But I'm excited to try this deck out. It looked pretty sweet, and it's already done well somewhere in Magic Online in the last week. So let's see if we can replicate that and win some matches.